right, everyone. Welcome to One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. I cannot believe that it is November the 7th. It seemed like we were just in the summertime here not long ago, and things have just flown by. And I know things have flown by for our guest that we have on here tonight. I mean, she's jumped in and she's been active in her school, she's been active in sports, she's been active at working. She's just been active. I can't begin to tell you all the things that she does, but hopefully we're going to be able to touch on a few of those things tonight. You know, one thing I want to tell you real quick before we bring Camryn on is that our guest host, I mean, he has been wanting to get back on here. He's been so busy. He was coaching our grandson in football, and then he was planning and targeting tonight being the next time that he was going to be on. Well, guess what? He got hit by a trash truck in Colorado and totaled their car. He got a concussion, but he's doing better. And I just thought, you know what, we'll give him another night off just because of the nice people that we are. We don't force people to come on. He's in concussion protocol, so just say a prayer for Jay if you would. Enough of that. Now I want to let you know we've got a great guest on with us tonight. We always have great guests on, but this one here, she's a special young lady, and she is stepping out of her comfort zone. She doesn't like to talk, but she's going to be on here talking to you guys tonight. So I'm going to show you a picture real quick of Camryn Sharp. This was her article, and she did an amazing job. Great photography, of course, from my daughter Katie, who does the photography. She's got some good photos right there. Camryn was a great interview. And as you see on the back of her jacket there's a whole bunch of accolades and awards that this young lady gets, and we'll get into that here in just a moment. But right now, I want to go ahead and bring her on. Everybody, I want to welcome you tonight, having Camryn Sharp on the program. Camryn, welcome.
Hey,
Hey, glad you could come on tonight.
I'm
And
glad you had me.
yeah, well, I know, and again, we talked. I know that this is just a little bit out of your comfort zone, but you said you need to get out of your comfort zone, so let's do this thing, okay? All right. Camryn, why don't you start off a little bit by telling us a little bit about your senior year and playing softball and how you thought all of that went?
It was just a completely different feeling coming out on your senior year. It's just completely different. Knowing you would never play with the girls again that you're playing with now. Um, but I would like to say we had an amazing season. We went like 20-9, I think, which is amazing. Um, you know, it was just definitely a different outlook than we had the last 2 years. Um, I went all season having one strikeout. I ended up having 7 home runs this year. Um, I got to play all 9 positions, so
Wow.
that was pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't think I'd ever get catching, and I got catching
Uh-huh.
2 years ago. And then this year I ended up playing second and first to get all 9.
Okay. So was that just something that you guys put together as a goal that you wanted to do, or was it needed at the time that they said, "All right, Camryn, we're needing you to step in at catcher today"? What was that all about?
So the catching, they actually needed me to. We only had one catcher, and she was like, "I'm really dizzy, like I cannot go catch." And they were like, "Camryn, you're gonna go catch." But then after I got catching, I was like, you know what? That's the one position I never thought I would play. So I was like, I'm gonna play all 9 positions for my high school team. And so this year I was like, I only need first and second base. And I went up to Coach Skinner and I was like, do you care like if I played like an inning at these 2 positions? And he was like, of course, like that's awesome. So he just kind of, when we got up by enough, he was like, Camryn, go to second, Camryn, go to first. I was like, okay.
Hey, that's great. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit then, since you've played all of those different positions, what are some of the ones that you deemed a little bit harder to play than maybe some of the ones that come a little more naturally to you?
Well, catching was definitely the hardest one, I think. It was just not natural at all. I got back there and I could not stop laughing. Me and one of my best friends was pitching, and her and I were in tears laughing. Pitching is also definitely a struggle. It's a lot of stress put on you. I feel like all eyes are on you, which I don't like. Um, First base was also not for me. I'm 5'2", so that's not a good position for me. But I think the rest, like, if you practice that position, you're going to be good at it. And obviously, I practice my two positions, and so that's where I'm most comfortable at. But
Well, very good. So I want to just say real quick, how distracting would that be with the catcher and the pitcher laughing at each other for a batter? I mean,
I,
how distracting?
I think the batter didn't even have to be focused because our pitcher was not throwing strikes.
Okay.
But it was entertaining because their coach, the first batter walked, obviously, because our pitcher couldn't throw strikes. And so their coach was like, "You're stealing. Like, she's never caught before." And then I ended up throwing the girl out. And he was like, "I thought you've never caught before." And I was like, "I haven't." So
Yeah,
then he was
no,
all mad.
I'm sure you set him up. You guys were laughing, and then
Yeah.
you threw her out at second. That's awesome. Very good.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit. Okay, first of all, we got some people that are joining us tonight, and thank you guys for joining us. If you have any additional comments, Shelly Shirts, you've been jumping in here and making comments. We always appreciate you doing that. Anybody else that wants to jump on and ask questions of Camryn or just making comments about how awesome she is, which she is, feel free to do that. But we're going to hear about how awesome she is right now in this next question, and it's about winning some postseason awards. Camryn, you've got a whole bunch of them. You've been two-time USSSA All-American, Newcomer of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, a two-time First Team All-District, First Team All-Conference, First and Second Team All-Region, two-time Offensive Player of the Year, and two-time Academic All-State. But I know that you have added to those. So why don't you tell us about some of these new awards you've gotten?
So I added another first team all conference, all region, and district. And this year, our coach awarded me with the MVP award, and I've never gotten something like that before. So it was just, I was like, oh, really? Like, that was pretty cool to get
Yeah,
the MVP award.
very good. So tell us a little bit about the MVP award, and what is Coach looking for in the student athlete as far as um, presenting that. What was he looking for in you?
So he basically, I think, went off of our fielding percentage, our batting average, put out just an overall good like player that stood out to him that helped out the team in any aspect of the game. Um, so I think that's kind of how it went. I'm not really sure.
Okay. Well, that sounds like some pretty good characteristics of an MVP. So obviously you fit those, and otherwise, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that he wouldn't have done that if he wouldn't have given
yeah.
it to you if he didn't feel that way. So, okay, so I'm going to have to ask. Adam Green is saying, "Hey, Bam." So is that your nickname, Bam?
Well, I guess it's his nickname for me. I have quite a bit of nicknames, I think.
Okay, let's go ahead and go. Which one do you like the most? Which nickname do you like the most?
Oh God, probably just Cam because it's basic. But I get Cammy all the time. I get Cam Bam all the time. My dad used to call me Cam Burglar, which is kind of weird. Uh,
Okay, so me being a little bit older, I know where that came from. The Hamburglar from McDonald's.
oh yeah,
So the Camburglar. Okay, I got it. Tell your dad I get it. So
I'll have to tell him.
at least one other person on the planet gets it. I got it. So you got now this week. All State is supposed to be coming out as far as those awards too. How's any idea how that's looking?
I have no idea. No idea.
All right. Well, I think you'll fit the mold. Obviously, you've worked very hard. One thing we didn't talk about, the position that you play most. Why don't you tell everybody what position you pretty much play, other than all the other eight positions on the field? Which one?
Center field is definitely where I'm most comfortable.
Okay. So you play center field. That means that you're fast.
Mm,
Okay. Track the balls down pretty good.
I'd like to say so.
All right. And obviously, you got a pretty good arm because you're like at catcher throwing people out at second base. So
Yeah,
you've got a good arm. All right.
Yeah.
What was your most memorable play out in center field?
Um, Probably our district championship game. I ran back and caught a ball. People said it was a home run, but I'm not sure because I wasn't really paying attention to the fence. But people said it would have been a home run. But that was probably the most memorable. Even though we lost the game, it was still probably my most memorable.
Well, that was a good question because Shelly Shirts, she was bringing up that same question. So, Shelly, we're thinking alike. I like that. That's good. We had somebody else that said we love Cameron, and that's from Shanna Schwartzer. So you got some people that think a lot of you out there. All right. Okay. So this past season, you had a pretty tough schedule, right? You guys played some pretty
Yeah,
pretty tough games, and I think from what I saw, you had a record. I mean, I think you mentioned 29, but I think you had a record of 22-9 from what I saw.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Does that sound about right? Okay, let's give you two more wins. That sounds even better. Uh, but you did lose in the district game to a very tough Helias Catholic, but you had beaten them earlier in the year, didn't you?
We did. That was also a very tough game. We got down 4-0 in that game and ended up coming back and scoring the five to beat them. But they're always a team we go. What we always split with them, so I think we're pretty comparable. They just happened to be the team to beat us that time. So
Yeah. There's some really good softball teams right here in mid-Missouri, and you guys have come
there's,
right in being a new program. In a short amount of time, you guys have jumped right into the mix. I mean, obviously playing in the district championship game, that's pretty special, Cameron.
hmm
There's some other schools like Blair Oaks, and you played against Fatima, who won the state championship. How tough were they to play against?
they were an amazing team. They have two phenomenal pitchers on their team, phenomenal hitters on their team, a great defense behind their pitchers, and great bats to back up their pitchers. They all hit amazing. They were a hard team.
Yeah, but you guys hung right in there. I mean, even though you lost those games to some very good teams, I mean, that's what it's all about is getting in there and playing against some very good competition. It helps
Yeah,
make you better and prepare you.
it does.
Yeah.
hmm
Uh, we've got to go back. So you're talking about all these pitchers and how good they are and stuff like that. You, however, only struck out one time this year. How's that
I
possible
did.
with all those at bats?
Uh, Honestly, I think that my competitive team uh, actually got me to the point where like the high school pitchers are just like an everyday type of thing. Obviously, those pitchers are good, but like when you play competitive softball, you're facing pitchers that are throwing 60 miles an hour and throwing those rise balls that'll get you swinging every time. The change ups that come and I swing and I whiffed every time. Um, but I think the competitive side helps you see the ball a whole lot better. Uh, it definitely helps playing competitive, I think, and seeing those better pitchers there.
Hmm.
And then when you transfer to high school, it's the slower pitchers that I struggle with. They're the hard ones for me to hit because I
Hmm.
can't slow my bat down. Can't wait. I get way too anxious.
Ready to crush the ball, and it's like, come on, get it in
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
uh, so go ahead and tell us a little bit more about your competitive team, and obviously you were talking about how that raised your skill level. So I want to kind of shift. Where are some of the places that you traveled to, and what are some of the most memorable moments that you had there?
So I played on St. Louis Bombers 18U. Um, I decided to play with them because they're just an amazing team. They help you get college showcased out there, and they help get you out there. Um, One of my most memorable moments, I think, is like I wanted to join the team so bad, and like their coach was like, "We don't really need any more players," and then the other coach was like asking who the player was, and the coach was like, Camryn Sharp, and he was like, "Oh yeah, she can be on our team. Like we'll have a spot for her." And so that just kind of made me feel good about myself because I could still play 16U, but I was like, 18U will help me get to the next
Mhm.
level and helps me face other people. So that was pretty cool. Another memorable moment would be this past summer. I was playing at Jeffco's field, and the coach was there watching me, and I hit a home run at their field, and he was like, "This could be your home field," and I was like, "Oh, maybe." And then I ended up choosing to go to school there. So,
Okay, because I was going to lead right into that next question. Why did you decide to go to school there, and what are you going to be doing?
so I met with the coach. He was one of the first coaches I met with. I absolutely loved him. He seemed like a really fun guy. And then I went and visited their school. It's a small campus, which I liked. It's a 2-year school, so you're only freshman and sophomore. Gets you a little bit more playing time than rather 4-year school. Um, I also liked the dorms. I would have my own bedroom, and then you share a bathroom with one other person, so that was also really nice. Um, I know a few girls on the softball team, and they absolutely love the coach there. They say he's amazing, an amazing guy, and they said the assistant coaches are also amazing there. So that was kind of my deciding factor to go there. And then I'm planning on going into finance and accounting.
Okay. We talked a little bit about this before the program, and your parents were happy that you were going to be playing a little bit closer, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So they get to travel up there and watch a little bit more of your games compared to if you were in Kentucky or someplace like that, right?
yeah, yeah. The Texas trip was also about 9 to 10 hours, and they were like, "We can't do this all the time. Like this is a lot."
Well, I'm sure that they're going to appreciate that you have made that decision, and you're going to do great there. Uh, let's talk a little bit about your parents. What are some of the things, the role that they've played as far as supporting you and helping you to get where you are?
My dad was my coach from well, he was a coach for me at T-ball, coach pitch. And then I played for a crush team. I had a different coach, and then I joined Twisted Fast Pitch, and my dad was my coach for like 5 years on that team. So he's always been my coach pretty much. Everyone's always like, "Who's your hitting coach?" And I'm always like, "Oh, it's just my dad," which is pretty great. He was really the one that got me into playing softball because I grew up at the fields watching him play. So I was like, well, now I need to play and be like my dad. Um, he's always been hard on me as a coach. Like he's always like, "You're my daughter, so I have to be harder on you." And so it was always like, "I'm gonna hit a ground ball 10 times harder at you to make you better." And I would say my mom has more pushed me on like the academic side to stay on my grades and keep my grades up while playing. Obviously, she's a big supporter in softball too, has never missed a game. But I would definitely say she's more like, you just keep on top of your schoolwork. But
Mhm.
you always need that because if not, I wouldn't do my homework. I wouldn't do any of that.
So it just sounds like you've had a lot of attention on you, like pretty much all of the time. Do you get any breaks at home at all?
um, yeah, I think I do just because my sister, she's kind of not great. She's the complete opposite of me. She's loud and obnoxious. So they kind of focus on her and try and keep her on her schoolwork. And then that's when I'm like, oh, I finally get a break. But
Okay.
no, normally it's just my mom's always hounding me like, what's wrong with this grade? Like, you need to get this grade back up. I think it was last week, I got an 88% on my psychology test, and she was like, this is not good. Like, you need to get that up. I was like, Mom, it's still an A. Like, please stop.
Okay. So, Mom, I'm sorry that I brought that up. We're gonna have to get some brownie points here. Brownie points are important, so we're gonna have to get that coming back in. What are some of the things that you appreciate most about your parents and your sibling?
I appreciate them taking me everywhere, paying for everything, being gone all the time, taking off of work to take me to and from places like Florida. Arkansas, Oklahoma, California, all the places I've been. Like, I couldn't have gone to any of those places without them and their support. So that's been great. I appreciate my sister for making me laugh. That's definitely her role. Um, she's definitely a whole lot funnier than I am. So
Well, that's good. And it sounds like you do like to laugh because you're laughing as a catcher, you're laughing around your sister,
yeah,
so it sounds like you like to laugh. That's good. Very good. Well, you have done an outstanding job so far. We are at the halfway point. Let's go ahead and we'll do our sponsorships, and then we'll be right back for the next half. Great job, and you don't have to worry about speaking in public at all. You're doing a great job at
thank you.
it. You're welcome. All right, we'll be right back, Camryn.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Not everybody is an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday type. At CNS, we have employment options for the way you want to work with our flexible scheduling program. Flexible scheduling is designed to fit your lifestyle and allows you to be in control of your schedule. CNS offers insurance plans upon employment. Celebrating 45 years of staffing, CNS Business Services.
Say yes to CNS.
All right, Cameron, we got some really good sponsors. They've been in this with us for a very long time, and we appreciate them having us be a part of their everyday business operations. And, CNS Business Services, they offer people's jobs. You don't need a job because you are working and your boss let you off tonight. So that was
She
awesome.
did.
I know she needed you there on Mondays, but she said, Cameron, it's okay. You can have off tonight. Reluctantly, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell her we thank her for doing that. So, and we want to thank CNS. All right. And we want to thank CNS Business Services for all that they do, as well as the Missouri Army National Guard. What a sacrifice our men and women do for us that serve our country. And we just want to say thank you, especially coming up this week, I think, is Veterans Day. So we appreciate everything that they do. Camryn, speaking of appreciating something that people do, your dad, I saw that he was on here and, talking about him being like helping you with your hitting coach and you only striking out one time and hitting all those home runs. He's probably like, yeah, that's me. I helped her do that.
Yeah, probably. He doesn't really like to take credit for it, but
Okay.
I think he definitely does.
Okay. That's right. He just has that little smirk on his face at times, right? And just say, yeah, that was me. That was me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's good to have good people around you. Speaking of good people, you've been around and been a part of a softball program that at Capital City. It's still fairly new, but how special has it been developing that foundation and setting the tone for the future?
The first year I was like, I don't know if I can do this. It was so rough. Like, I had never played for a team where like we had some players that were amazing and then some that like just really needed help. Practices, like it was the girls that had played helping the girls that hadn't. So like ending that season with a 7-20 record, I was like, oh, like I need to figure out how I can help these girls out. And then like coming around the next year and everyone was like, oh, Capital City's such an easy team. Like this should be a cakewalk. And then we had an amazing season going 20-7, like flipping our record around.
Mm-hmm.
And then our coach always said, now we have the targets on our back and like going out, we beat Helias that next year. And so he was like, Helias is always going to come for you. Like you beat them once, they're always going to have that target on, you're always going to have that target on your back. but it's definitely been amazing, like growing as a team. Most teams don't get that opportunity to build a team. Like normally you have the seniors that leave and then you get the freshmen and you have to start all over. Whereas we got that opportunity to build a team. So then this year, when we had the seniors leave, I was like, oh, this could be like completely different. But we definitely still had an amazing season, had an amazing team. So it's been an amazing opportunity, obviously. Getting that name out there, letting people know like Capital City's team is out there and they're a good team and one to beat. That's for sure.
All right. You're doing so good for me. You're helping me with all these transitions. So let's just go ahead and go right in. Let's go ahead and go right in about your teammates. Tell us about how special they've been for you.
You know, I've built amazing bonds with every single person. Mason Carr has been somebody I've played with since I was 9 years old. Her and I have always played on the diamond together. Jaden Kostler this year, she completely stepped it up. Our main pitcher she had a fracture in her back, and Jaden stepped it up and pitched every game in districts and led us to amazing wins. She was our pitcher who beat Elias the first time. She stepped it up this year and did an amazing job. We had our freshman, McKenna Schwartzer, really stepped it up. She was our 2-hole hitter all season. She did an amazing job this year. Definitely an amazing player from her. Let's see. Lydia Colson, she's also an amazing pitcher. She was the pitcher that fractured her back. She's going to a school in Florida. She's a good pitcher. All around, we have amazing teammates. They will never let you get down on yourself. They're always like, come on, Camryn, like pick yourself back up. You got it. Like they're always there for you, always picking you up, having your back.
Speaking of having your back, there's only a certain number of players that can be the starters and get most of the playing time. Talk about some of those backup role players that, how do they help make you guys better?
You know, the people that are in the dugout, honestly, are some of our biggest cheerleaders. If it wasn't for them, we would probably get down on ourselves. They're always in the dugout cheering us on, keeping us up, keeping us alive. Anytime we're out on the field, they're cheering us on. And you make an error, they're in the dugout saying, oh, you got the next play. Like, give it your all, you got it. Like, they're so amazing.
Any, I know baseball players have this. I know softball players have this too. Are there any like superstitious stuff that you guys do? I mean, rally caps, or what kind of stuff do you guys do?
We really, I think most people have like their own superstitions, but before every game, we do like some clapping thing and do a slow clap, and then we're spread out, and then we clap and slow clap, and then get faster, and then come all together, and then we do some like loud cheering circle thing and scream, and then we see Cavs on 1 and then Cavs on 3, and then we'd say Cavs. But that's about the only thing we do before games.
Okay. And I promise I will not ask you to do that for us on the program tonight.
That could be entertaining by myself. That'd be.
I don't want to push the envelope too far. I don't want to do it too far. All right. We've talked about your teammates. Now let's talk about your coaches and how special that they've been as far as helping you develop into the ball player you are today.
I've always had amazing coaches through all the years. My dad being one of those coaches. But the Bombers coaches, after my dad was my coach, they were amazing. I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. Bill was my Bombers coach this last summer, and he really helped me with the college recruiting process, got me in contact with a lot of college coaches, and helped me get to the next level. Coach Skinner was also amazing. I still have no idea how he dealt with us because we have major attitude. Definitely give him a hard time every day at practice. I still don't know how he did it. And then Coach Womack, probably one of my favorite coaches ever. my saying this year was I went to practice just to bully Coach Womack every day, and he was like, "Oh, you're now at 36 bully reports," and so he made softball fun. Going to practice every day can be hard, and then he was always there to make sure we were having fun and keeping us upbeat at practice.
That's those are the moments that you're going to hold on to for a long time, and you're going to be older. You'll come back and you'll see Coach Womack, some of the other ones, and you might have to add a few more bully reports just
Oh,
to
for
keep
sure.
things going.
I told him
Uh,
he wasn't going to get rid of me. I'm still going to come back and I'm still going to bully him this next season. I'm going to come home for college just to do it.
all right, that's awesome. I do want to ask you, coaches a lot of times they have this one particular saying that, sometimes it can be annoying, but what are some of those sayings or some of the motivational things that your coaches have said that they say it all the time?
My coach for Bombers, he would always say, this pitcher, I just don't know why we're not hitting her. She's throwing it right down the middle, same speed, like she's not changing anything up. And we're like, Bill, she's throwing like these rise balls that are crazy rising, and like we can't hit that. And so it was always funny. Like we'd be like, guys, it's one speed right down the middle. So we'd always make fun of him for saying that.
One speed right down the middle.
Yep.
Since your dad's watching, we will not ask because he said nice things about you. He said no, she did it all, and so we're not going to ask what it is that he says. That's totally on you. We're not going to ask it.
I wouldn't even be allowed to say them on here.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's awesome. Outside of softball, you do a lot of other things. Why don't you share with us a little bit about National Honor Society as well as Fellowship of Christian Athletes and your work?
So we do for NHS. We do a lot of volunteer stuff. Like last year, I went to the diaper bank. I went to Coyote Hill, which is like a foster care organization. I also helped out in churches. This year so far, I went and worked at a chili dinner, and I worked at our trunk or treat at the school. And then for FCA, we meet every Wednesday morning before school. Always have amazing speakers teaching us amazing things about the Lord. I finally got back to work in the softball after softball ended. Um, I am a server at Bandana, so feel free to come see me at work. Um, the best part about working there is I get to eat the food while I'm working because we're not always super busy. So I go back to the cooks. I'm like, hey, I need some food, and they're like, okay. So that's always amazing. And then definitely serving is a great way to get out and talk to new people that you're never going to see again. So if you make a fool out of yourself, it doesn't even matter. Like you're not going to see them again.
That's awesome. I'm going to just tell you that, even though you might not see me again, we don't know about that, but, it's going to be recorded and it will be on the internet for a long time. So they will see it
Yeah.
again and again. That's a great answer. I loved it. You know what? You have done so good. I'm going to end with this question before we go into the speed round. What have you enjoyed the most about attending Capital City and just the teachers, the faculty, the students, the whole atmosphere? What have you enjoyed about that?
I've enjoyed like building as a school. We started with only freshmen and sophomores, so it was definitely great to see our school build inside, like the size of students. Definitely seeing the hallways fill up, starting new traditions, new clubs, new everything, seeing the athletic programs build. Um, it's great seeing all these sports at our school doing amazing, going on and playing great teams, playing great everything. Um, the teachers we have are amazing. I definitely wouldn't have the grades I do without them. Um, our principals are amazing. Um, I think definitely the best thing about starting at a new school is like getting the new tradition started. Getting to say I'm one of the first all 4 years graduate, so that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, that is good. Um, you touched on something here about principals being amazing, and Why don't you share a little bit about when you guys are walking into school in the morning? There's usually somebody greeting you at the front door. What's that all about?
So Mr. Meldrum's always out front giving us fist bumps every morning. Normally, if I'm walking in with my coffees or my McDonald's, he's like, "Well, where's mine?" I'm like, "I don't know what you want, so you can't tell me that." And then if you go in through the other doors, I get to say, "See, my favorite principal, Miss Schwartzer."
Uh-huh.
Um, she's
I
always
bet.
down there, and I always sit down there and talk to her. Her and Mr. Boyu. Mr. Boyu was an amazing guy. He was my English teacher, and I absolutely love him. So it's kind of weird. Like, I just see him in the hallways now, and he's doing nothing. Like, he's not in his classroom where he should be, but, you know, they're, our principals are amazing.
That's great. And you did so well. You did so well with that cue of saying, who your favorite principal was. That was good.
Uh-huh.
You are seasoned at this already, so you have nothing to worry about. You're gonna be able to do a whole bunch of these. It's good. You now talking about activities directors. You don't see one person in particular, but he's pretty awesome. You don't see him very often. Tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about.
no, I never see Nesakia. I never see him. I I would be walking around school and he's not anywhere in sight. I guess I'd have to go to his office to find him. I really don't know.
Yeah. Well, there it is. It's out there. He may be missing, but I think what he's doing is he's in there working very hard trying to pull everything together.
Hmm.
So, you guys do such an outstanding job over there. Cameron, you have made it through this part. Now you are on the home stretch, ready for the speed round. Are you ready?
No.
No. Okay. Well, good. We're gonna do it anyway. How's that?
Okay.
If you had a favorite or had a theme song for your style of play, what would that be?
Um, coming in hot.
Coming in hot. Okay, that sounds like get out of the way. Basically, that's what that
Yeah.
sounded like. Okay, gotcha. I won't be in your way. Um, Jay, my son-in-law, again, I mentioned this before. We played softball. He got trucked at home plate by somebody, and I think he might have had a concussion at that time too. So I'm pretty sure he
so
wouldn't be in your way either.
so that's his song too, coming in hot.
That's what I'm gonna tell him. That's his new favorite song. What was your most embarrassing moment during a game?
Oh God, I've had so many. I I'm a very clumsy person, so I just randomly fall. But there was one time I was pitching and my shoe lace got stuck in the bottom of my cleat and I just completely face planted.
Okay. Your catcher didn't laugh, did they?
I don't remember because I was so embarrassed. Like, I just wanted to get out of that moment. So I really don't know. Probably.
Yeah. Coach, I'm ready for a different position. That's what I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite combination of foods that don't really go together? Some unusual foods. Your favorite combination?
Um, I really like mashed potatoes and corn mixed together, but I feel like there's a lot of people that do that.
My
So,
wife, my wife loves that. So yeah,
yeah.
but it's kind of unusual, but
Yeah.
it's good.
I don't really like my food touching, so that's about the only thing that I like let touch each other. So,
Okay. Well, that's a good answer. I mean, if it's you don't like your food touching, then you're putting them together. That makes perfect sense.
mhm.
Um, okay, we're going to go into something else here because when you sing, what does your voice sound like?
Probably dying cats. I'm a terrible singer. I'm so bad.
Can mom or dad verify that? We just want to know. Just just put a little thumbs up or something if that's the truth. In a foot race, what animal can you beat from first to second base? The fastest animal, because you can beat a turtle. What's the fastest animal you can beat?
Um, I'm gonna say a squirrel.
A squirrel. Okay, squirrels are pretty fast.
Yeah.
And I do want to say that your mom has confirmed yes about the singing, and also we
I
want to that's a double confirmation. Dad, thumbs up. So there we go.
I mean, I can sing for you guys if you'd like. It'd be really good.
Okay, I mean that's up to you. This is your show.
I'm,
This is your program. Okay, you said no. All
I
right.
don't think we want that.
All right. What Disney princess do you most resemble? What Disney character?
Do I look like or act like?
Act like.
Mm, I'm gonna say Brave.
You
The
know what?
Brave lady. Yeah.
That is actually the one I thought you were going to say. So that's good.
Yeah.
I don't think she sings like Screaming Cats though. I don't remember that.
Yeah. No.
No.
Probably not. She's
Okay.
probably better singing than me.
All right. I do want to ask two more questions here, real quick. Um, your dad, when he's what was one of the, I guess you say, funniest moments when your dad was helping coach you? What was one of the funniest moments that you remember with that?
Um, it's probably we lost this tournament to a really bad team. Like I think our team just did not show up um to play that day, and he was wearing like a sweatband around his head, and he ripped it off, and he was like, "This is the reason why we lost," and he chucked it in the trash can. I was like, "Dad, that was my sweatband. Like you just threw away my $10 sweatband." He was like, "I don't care. It's the reason we lost." So that was highly entertaining. Um, he also did like really funny third base calls. Like our hitting, like our hitting sign, I guess you could say, was like a bow and arrow, like something you would never expect to be a sign. It was a bow and arrow was his hitting coach or his hitting sign at third base. He also, to one of my best friends, would do like bows to her. Like, I don't know. It was weird, but it was pretty entertaining to watch him over at third base. He just looked stupid.
It's like, Dad, what are you doing over there?
Yeah.
It's all right.
I was like, that is not my dad, guys. Like, I don't know who that man is.
Okay, so we have to go here real quick. Who is the loudest person that you can hear yelling for you in the stands?
I'm gonna say either my aunt when she's at games or my mom's best friend. She went to one game in Alabama when I played there, and she was screaming so loud that the girl in the outfield, I guess, dropped the ball because she was so scared of my mom's best friend screaming in the outfield. It was bad.
That's great. And now here, your dad said he agreed with the signs, but he said it made everyone relaxed. Did that make you relaxed?
Yeah, I guess, because if we messed up, then everyone's still looking at him looking like a fool over there.
That's great. Okay, last one. You get to end it on a high note. What superhero would you be? Now, this is not one that is in existence. What kind of superhero would you be that you would give yourself a name? You're new on the scene, a new superhero.
I really don't know, but if I was going to be one, I would be like a woman Hulk. Like, be
Okay.
the strongest woman alive. Like, it would be
Okay.
so cool.
Okay. And you would be crushing the softball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I could just hit it really far and then get to just walk the bases every time.
And or as you're running, if somebody's in your way, you're going to do what?
Yeah. I just hit them.
Hit them. There. I agree. That's a perfect superhero. So there you go. Camryn, you've done an outstanding job. I appreciate you coming on here tonight. And again, thank your boss for letting you off so you could be here.
Oh, I will.
All
I
right.
will.
And I want to encourage everybody, just go to Bandanas and let Camryn be your server. Now, you're going to have to give her an opportunity to be able to eat food herself. So, just try to have that grace towards her. Camryn, thank you so much. If you'll hold on until after I close out the program real quick, I'll visit with you real quick, and then we'll Well, I know everybody appreciates you being on here. Let them know how much you've appreciated talking to them tonight.
I've appreciated talking to you guys tonight. I'll probably see most of you guys at school tomorrow, including Shayna, that I will see at school bright and early, walking into school.
All right. And Scott, thank you. We appreciate you guys. Ashley, thank you guys. You got a great daughter. You've done a fantastic job. All right. This is Kirk with One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. We have been joined tonight by the amazing, we're going to call her She-Hulk because there is an actual She-Hulk, Camryn Sharp. She did an outstanding job. If you didn't catch all the interview, make sure you go back and do that. We have it on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Again, thanks for joining us. We will see you next week on One Nation, a Sports Locker Magazine Extra. God bless you, and we'll see you then.